What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So today's video, we've got some updates on the assassination attempt on Trump. Updates about the shooter and stuff. Additional video footage has come out, and information and stuff about the shooter, whatnot. And then we also have uh, the President Biden having his interview tonight that he had on I think it was NBC or something. Anyway, I just watched it a few minutes ago, um, so we'll go over that a little bit, talk about it. But yeah, it's pretty much what we're going to do here. It's kind of it's an update kind of video, and talking about um, what I think is going to go forward. So first off, we have the new information about the shooter in the rally on the rally, attempted assassination on the former President Trump. As we know before, he was a 20-year-old guy by the name of Thomas Matthews Crooks. Um, he was a registered Republican. The information about the donation of $15 to the progressive cause or whatever, progressive like PAC or whatever, that's still being reported pretty heavily. I know before in the previous video I'd kind of said there was some speculation that that could have been somebody else, but they're still pretty much heavily reporting on this. So I'm starting to fear more to that being accurate. But that was back in 21. He registered as a Republican in 22, so that was after the fact. And Not sure why that was. The $15, whatever. This I don't know how what the, what that was from. But he we had the videos of the classmates and stuff that had come out talking about how he was bullied a lot in school. Like the one that talked said he was bullied a lot in school, kind of an outcast, and whatnot. There was video, of classmates saying how he during classes they would if there was like a class where it was like a political like affiliated type of policy, I guess lesson going on, and where a policy would be given and you either step to one side of the class or the other side of the class, being just liberal or conservative. A lot of the majority of the people of the kids in the class would go to the liberal side on most of the policies, but he was apparently, according to students that were talking about this, or he pretty much pretty much every single policy he would step to the conservative side, whether he was alone or in the very a minority of few people on a particular policy. So it was pretty known that he was a conservative as far as ideology. I'd seen information about where it come out that his uh, we do know that the gun was registered to his father. And I also see in one post here, I actually can just bring that one up, uh, where it says that according records received by CNN revealed that the gunman's father had more than 20 legally purchased guns registered to himself. Now, I don't know. This is like the first I've seen that. I don't know if that is completely legit, but this is being reported by the Independent. So I don't know. I don't know any sources on that other than they're saying that it was reviewed by CNN. It it was an AR style with the 5.56 caliber bullets, um, legally purchased. But this is stunning to me. 20 legally purchased guns. I mean, I know there's people that's got a lot of guns, but damn, that's the kind of issue that I have with gun control. Like, I completely understand having your right to own arms, but nobody needs 20 guns. But anyways, um, so that was an interesting thing there. I saw somewhere, that, of course, this is him as a younger student. Um, there was a picture somewhere. Anyways. Um, but yeah, I'd seen somewhere where the father was kind of was and don't this is like just spitballing. I mean, like just like random stuff that I'd seen. Um, whether or not it's legit or not, I don't know. Somewhere it was I saw where the father was possibly like a libertarian type conservative. And the mother was more like a Democrat. So it was like a split home to some degree, but I would assume she's probably more on the conservative side, Democrat. Maybe she was a little bit more, you think of, like maybe she had more conservative, like economic, but maybe a little bit more liberal on, say, social issues or something. I don't know. You never know. Something like that. She's kind of like a potentially maybe like a social, I mean, a conservative type Democrat. Um, at the very least, you could assume, like I said, the House is conservative. He seemed to be conservative. But, when you were only an hour away from a Trump rally, if you were a hard go Trumper, if you were a Trump fan, I just don't see any major Trump fans missing the opportunity to see Trump in person at a rally. So, I mean, just deducing here for me, it would make sense for me to say that they probably were not Trump fans. Um, as far as like, the parents, I would assume. I mean, like I said, that's not been stated. I'm just like giving my opinion right here in this little block. Um, so, and if he is having bully issues, which now there were apparently some reports of like classmates that are kind of have actually come out against that he really wasn't bullied. I- you never know. I mean, it could be people trying to cover themselves, just not or make an excuse that no, that wasn't the bullying. They may have been the ones bullying them. The one that stated that he was bullied could have been the one that was actually bullying him. You never know. I mean, it's either way. If he was a troubled kid, if he did have bullying going on, I mean, everybody to some degree has some bullying in school. But if it was like a major kind of bullying thing, and if he's coming up in a home that, or at least in the recent history, um, is more of a no Trump kind of home. I mean, just assuming. I'm not like again, not saying this is definite. You could deduce that. For me, I would see where it was reasonable to conclude that maybe if it's psychological or something that he um, may have taken, like if you think of this head of somebody who's been bullied or whatever, and I know that there's association to Trump being a bully type of person. I mean, that's not hard to imagine, that some people think that way. Maybe they consider he could easily be looked at as a like a bully of all bullies, and so you could almost psychologically assume or think that he might be in this may have been some sort of reaction to that, him getting back to all bullies or something like that, by taking out the ultimate bully. You never know. I mean, I'm not saying that that's again, this is not, it's just me taking a information and trying to break down in my own head reasoning of potentially what might have been motivation for him. Um, because there is no evidence right now. The FBI is still investigating. They do have his cell phone, but they have not come out with anything of any kind of significance that would tell him or give them motive. They've found very little in social media information. I think they did find some type of social media like profile, but it was like it's very minimal, and apparently at this point doesn't show any kind of political affiliation or political like you know anything that would show them a political ideology or leaning or whatever. Um, but so yeah, that's it's hard at this point right now to really gauge what happened or why he decided to do it. Um, but there is information that where they found that he attempted um, to become a part of the like rifle uh, club, I guess, or something, with the school or something associated to that. Like they have some sort of a gun club, I suppose. And he was apparently, or like there was a tryout for some type of gun club, and he did not make it. Apparently, he was a bad shot, according to reporting. Again, I don't know that this is any of that's been like a push, officially, verified. But if that is the case, that's probably, I mean, it's a good sort of a sign that, didn't, he wasn't a good aim. So maybe that's a good thing that, or one kind of, one reason why he missed. I mean, it's obvious that he wasn't a professional. Um, that's easy to reason. Um, we do have footage that has come out. I can bring that up. That was what I actually had up when I first flipped over a minute ago. But this is footage of onlookers that were, I believe it seems like they were kind of outside the perimeter of the actual like event, just watching from afar. Apparently, there was a crowd of people outside the event, kind of watching from afar, and they spotted him up on the roof. Um, and but I think at first it was more of like they just spotted him, didn't know what he was, wasn't sure if he was, a danger or not or anything, until somebody did like eventually see the gun. Um, and then started like trying to get people's the officials and stuff attention to him up on the building. But this is one video here that's come out. We can play.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I could get some beautiful places, the gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look.
This is where they stop.
There he is, right there.
Bottom on the roof.
Right there, see him?
Kind of
he's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get us in.
What's happening?
To, like position himself.
Because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look. There he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals.
But I think at that point they were like not sure whether he was just somebody crawling up there to try to get a better view or something like that, and then suddenly someone did see the gun because he starts to try to aim up on it. And so they start trying to, hey, get officials' attention.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
Here's another view. This one doesn't really show much. You just hear kind of it's right when some other group of people spotted it and they saw the gun and then the shoots fire out almost immediately. This one's kind of rough. It's chaotic. And it kind of shows you in the moment how crazy and chaotic it kind of was.
He's on top of the roof. Don't go over there. He's on the roof, buddy.
But then they hear and realize that he was taken out. But yeah, there was also a report. I haven't found a video, but there was also a report that an officer actually like a local officer or something, actually did climb the ladder because he had gotten up on the roof with a ladder, had climbed the ladder up there to approach the individual. Not, I'm assuming probably not knowing whether or not he was a danger or not. Just probably trying to find out, hey, what are you doing up here? And it like the way I understand it, he came up the ladder. As he come up over the top to speak to him, the crooks had turned and pointed the gun at him, and so the officer kind of immediately backed back down the ladder, or either I've also heard that he fell, maybe scared or something, fell off the ladder. And then at that point's when Crooks apparently made his turn back, set up and took the shot. So I think it was kind of like a quick thing there that happened. Um, so it feels like to me like the first video was showing when people were first identifying it. Maybe got somebody to go up, somebody went up there because he was trying to get himself into position. I feel like that's about the time probably the official went up there to see what was going on with them. And Crooks turned, pointed the gun at him. He either fell or backed back down. Because I mean, you think people have tried to claim that he was, like he just let him do it or whatever. Like, oh, okay, you're here to do, that, like he was a part of it or some kind of crap. It's ridiculous. You put yourself in the mind there. Even if he, had access to his own weapon to try to draw on him, if you've immediately got a gun pointing at you, the time it took for you to, to try to make some type of move on the guy is done. Like you're just, there's no, he probably did the best he could, backed out, or either like I said, but there's also a report of him falling or something. He probably immediately tried to make an attempt, I would assume, to, but he was a more of a local official. There's a, when you really think about these, campaign rallies like this, there's whole units of people, different units of people set up, from Secret Service to, to kind of SWAT types, and then also like local, like divisions of officers and stuff. Pretty much the Secret Service has a parameter that pretty much covers just the actual like rally area, and then from there it's pretty much like supposed to be covered by more local officials. Anything outside the rally is supposed to be watched and everything like that. It was like, so information has come out that Secret Service did not personally comb that building, that they left that up to the locals to comb that building and keep an eye on that building. The counter snipers were directed on top of their, their location. One of them was supposed to be keeping an eye out on that building or in that general area, not necessarily the building, but just in that general area. And there was video showing the snipers like zoomed in right before the shots rang out, as if they were combing, trying to either find him or maybe, they had him in the sights, but were waiting for verification. There's a series process that you have to go through. I mean, for one, you want to make sure that local, if they have the chance to get to whatever, and deduce whether or not it's a threat or not, you let them do that, because they don't want to just randomly themselves just shoot and it not be something that's, because then you've caused chaos for no reason, especially if it was something that wasn't necessary. So I'm sure that they are, trying to have communication back and forth, whatever line of communication they've set up with local police and the other, all the different units. They're probably trying to get a chain of, information back and forth of whether or not, it's necessary for them to take a shot or not. And just the communication, whether it was just delayed or the fact that the official climbed up there and, like, interjected with him, and then because of that, Brooks turned quickly because he knew time was of the essence as far as what he was trying to do. He turns, aims up, shoots. Like, I think it was probably something that happened so quick that line of information did not get, it just the way things happened. It's the way I feel like it's, and everything I've heard and seen is what it seems like to happen. And then from there, he shot. I don't think he got more than maybe 2 or 3 shots off before he was taken out. So when you see the video where Trump got shot, or you hear the shots and stuff, and he grabs his ear, you hear one shot, and then all of a sudden you hear like 1, 2, and then 3, 4, like 2 or 3 shots back, like back to back. Those are, like, I think some additional shots from him plus counter shots you're hearing, kind of all at one time, and then the shots stop. So I think he only got off maybe 2 or 3 rounds before the counter snipers took their 2 or 3 shots. Well, probably wasn't but 1 or 2 shots. And that was it. So that's as much as we, I think, pretty much know at this point. I'm sure information will continue to feed out. There's probably going to be more local, people's cameras, footage and stuff. Probably the local police and other investigator, FBI or something's probably trying to get a hold of, to try to understand a little bit more. They also, well, I guess a couple other stuff. He had went to a local, I guess, gun shop and bought like a 50 rounds roughly of ammo is what he had on him. And then they found in his car some devices and materials that could make a bomb or an explosive. There was no information, like there's no evidence of him having any kind of explosive on him. I think there was a transmitter or something that was found in his pocket, perhaps, or something. But so they don't know if he may have also had, plans to maybe attempt to blow something up too. But either way, that didn't happen. But I'm sure more evidence and information on that would come out over the coming days, and maybe even weeks. I don't know how long we'll actually take for us to feel like we got all the information. But yeah, that's pretty much all we know so far, in a nutshell on that. Now this tonight we started they started the Republican convention. Trump showed up there, made his first kind of in-person viewing since the incident. He sported a little bandage over his ear, and you can information has come out since his reaction. Apparently he's rewrote his whole speech for the convention and either suggested or kind of like was pushing for others to rewrite theirs to be a little bit, supposedly to be a little bit more less inflammatory, a little more unifying. We will see in the coming days as speeches, are given by individuals and then eventually by Trump, how that, what comes about from that, if it actually is what is being reported. But you could tell that there was a very from the video I saw of him entering in, he's being revered very heavily. He's like a anyway. The whole him being God's chosen one and whatever. This even bigger now. It appears that he was saved. As I heard somebody say, by an angel's breath, and or whatever. It's gonna be anyway. It just amazes me. But so also this evening, like I said, we had the Biden interview. He was pretty. It was roughly, I think, maybe 10 minutes long or so. May not quite have been that long, but somewhere between like 7 and 10 minutes. I don't know. I didn't actually like measure it out. But he was asked pretty much all about, from the incident with the assassination attempt, the shooter, to his act talking to Trump, all this stuff. Asked whether or not he was going to change the way his tone and the way he was going to go forward with talking about the election and whatnot. Which he was pretty adamant about changing the tone, but at the same time he was pretty forceful about continuing the to getting the word out about policies and the things that Trump is wanting to or and has been talking about doing, and how that is still dangerous for the the American people, and so he was pretty adamant about in defining that, like he was going to continue speaking about those things and making sure people understood that what he's been, the policies he's being, been attached to him and his campaign, and how he plans to, act as president, in another term, is still dangerous to the country. He seemed like he wasn't going to back down from that. He was going to lower down and try to be careful of how things are worded, perhaps. He apologized for the kind of whatever bullseye or whatever comment that he made in speaking with some senators or something in a meeting. He apologized for the usage of that word, but made it clear that that's not, that it wasn't intended for like something like that. It was, just meaning to focus in, because and kind of speaking in reference, I think, more to the media, that that there's and the feedback from the debate, how everybody was talking about him having a bad night and everything, and his basically meaning, he wanted everybody, he would have rathered or wanted people to start focusing on Trump instead of him, and the 28 whatever lies that he said during the debate. That was what that was in reference to, and he was trying to explain that. For the most part, he did okay. He has a little bit of word fumbling at the beginning of the interview, but he pretty much cleaned it up through the rest of it. He had his moments where he paused for a minute, for well, a minute, a few seconds, trying to like, I probably piece his words in his head. There was one moment that will probably be talked about where he kind of completely stopped his thought, or he was acting like he was going to continue his thought and then stopped and was like, well, and went on to something else. It was probably more of a time where he was thinking something but then decided not to say it. It's kind of the way it come to me. Not just one of those like straight up mental gaps. But you know, whatever. You know, people are gonna take it how they're gonna take it. Um, maybe it was. I don't know. But for the most part, he seemed okay. You know, still slow biting, but it was it wasn't it none of it seemed per se scripted. He was just speaking kind of the same. He did speak some of the same kind of things he's been saying. You know, just kind of things that's been rehearsed maybe in his head. But he was very defiant at the end though about pressing. Um, yeah, I think he was just meaning in general to the media, pressing them on, you know, stop questioning me on, you know, my age and whether I'm gonna continue in the election or whatever, and start, you know, start talking about Trump and you know his lies in the debate and all this kind of stuff. Like he was trying to like you know he was trying to press on that, fairly aggressive actually. That you know them to get off of his case and start getting on Trump's case. That's kind of the way he was. So you know, putting it in so many words. um, so uh, so I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes here going forward. See uh, how the convention goes. This is for 4 days through Thursday. See how the who speaks, how they speak, um, if there's change or you know notable difference in what would be like assumed would have been said by certain people, and maybe they did change it or whatever. And even once it comes to Trump's time to speak, and whether what he says is you know seems a little changed, or if it's straight up Trump as usual, we'll see. Um, I'm pretty sure that there will be quite a few of them that are going to speak how they're going to speak, and nothing's going to be different. Um, but because I'm pretty sure not everybody got the memo, or even if they did, there's quite a few of them that probably don't care. So, anyways, it's going to be interesting. The next week going forward um, is going to be quite interesting to see how things fold. Not only with the convention, but also information continuing to come out about the shooter, and if we get anything that kind of contradicts or counters what we know at this moment. So anyway, thank you for joining me. Video a little bit longer than I thought I would going to do. I figured it would kind of be a short one, but I guess it's not bad. But anyway, thank you very much. If you like this, want to hear any more, want me to look into anything additional, let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, you know, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Share me around. Help me grow. You know, help this channel grow. Help the community, and you know, we grow our community. Have you know the talk with amongst each other and chat. That's what I'm kind of hoping happens, that we grow a community where we can communicate back and forth, you know, our different opinions and ideas, and you know get a conversation going that will be clear and or will help clear things or whatever, you know. Good. I want to keep good vibes though, and be reasonable and understanding in how we are, you know, talking about things. Rational, not being too extreme, you know, and or inflammatory, you know, and you know, just speaking honestly, you know, and being real about it. That's what I'm going for here. So anyway, thank you very much, and until next time, I'm JMD for Clear Talk. Out.